Day 2 here at SEC Media Days in Atlanta, Georgia. We are here reacting to everything that took place here in the big room and all throughout here at the College Football Hall of Fame. Guys, as always, I'm Chris Phillips. He is Dave Shumate on site with me. Again, we appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. This is the Overtime Drive live from SEC Media Days, SEC Unfiltered's college football show, the best college football show on the internet. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, turn notifications, check us out via podcast, where you get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. And as always, we are powered by our friends over at FANDUEL. Visit FANDUEL.com/SECU to get $250 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Once again, that's FANDUEL.com/SECU to get $250 in bonus bets today. Day 2 of SEC Media Days in Atlanta, Georgia, here at the College Football Hall of Fame is officially in the books, and we are on hand reacting and recapping everything that took place here on Day 2. Had 4 more great coaches, Dave, speak. We had Kirby Smart, Hugh Freeze, Josh Heupel, and Steve Sarkisian. A lot of great players as well, headlined by Arch Manning and the Arch Mania. Of course, we'll talk more about that. But first things first, my man Dave Shumate here to my left. Dave, what's going on, man? Appreciate you taking the time. Excited to do this yet again with you at SEC Media Days.
Yeah, I think we said on when did we do this preview show? Is it last Thursday?
Last Thursday.
It was last Thursday. I think me and you both agreed. We thought today was the best lineup of coaches, as you mentioned, the 4. And I think it's fair. I think for sure, definitely the first 2 days, kind of the heavy hitters, and obviously sprinkled in with Kalen DeBoer, some other guys, Eli Drinkowitz and them throughout the rest of the week. But I think today had your kind of what you were interested in from a standpoint of Kirby Smart always comes to the table with good insight. Obviously, he's not the dean of the league because that's Mark Stoops, but like obviously he's had the most success. You have Sark, who's the program. It's kind of getting to that elite level. Some would argue that are still there. Heupel trying to get there. I would say Heupel, not in a bad way. It's always interesting to see, to me. You can tell some of the guys that put more effort coming into this, like who's more prepared going into it. And again, that doesn't make them a bad coach. I just think some guys don't care as much about the media as some do. Heupel kind of seemed like that guy kind of came in a little bit like, ask me, I'm just trying to get at, not trying to get out of here, but a little just bit like, wasn't overly prepped about what could potentially be asked for him. Obviously, I'm sure the Nico stuff, but I didn't hear a ton of questions about that. And unfortunately, I missed Hugh Freeze because I was up on our radio row. Obviously, have you been? But it seems like Hugh Freeze really likes his team. I've seen a lot of those quotes. Yeah.
No, it's a lot of fun. We're going to start in the beginning. Let's just go down the list. Dave, want to get your thoughts on all of them. First off, kicking off the morning with Kirby Smart. Dude, I could listen to Kirby talk football all day long. He's a football guy. You want to run through a wall when Kirby Smart starts talking football, especially because – you know, he talked a lot about his team, obviously, and the guys they have back. I thought most notably mentioning 54% of the guys on their roster are first- or second-year players. He mentioned they're going to be young. They're going to be young on the lines of scrimmage, which I think is really interesting. He obviously brought his quarterback with him, Gunnar Stockton. That's one of those, you know, younger guys that's going to be taking over, sliding in that QB1 role. But it was a lot of – you know, we want guys that want to play at the University of Georgia, that have passion, that have intensity, that have love for the game. You could tell he really preached that again today. It was kind of the same message as I heard him say last year in person in Dallas. You get a lot of that from Kirby Smart, though. I mean, he even went on, I think, Paul Feinbaum and said, you don't want to be coached, don't come to the University of Georgia. If you don't want to be coached hard, don't come to the University of Georgia. That was a lot of his messaging yet again. I feel like he kind of uses these opportunities at the podium more as like a recruiting pitch than anything. Like he's sending a message to all the kids who are going to be hearing the sound of his voice. Like, this is what we expect. And you had a great question, right, about the organization and watching tape. He said it's less about the tape. There's thousands of kids that can play at Georgia. But he's like, we want guys that want to play for us, like want to play hard, like bring it every single day. He's like, I can teach you how to move left and right. I can't teach you how to do it with passion and intensity. And I thought that really jumped out. So, you know, I think Kirby Smart speaking from a unique place where I don't know that some of the other coaches in the league can say that, because they can go out and get anybody versus, you know, there aren't 1,000 kids that maybe some other schools would probably take or could take or what have you. So always great listening to Kirby Smart. What were your main takeaways? Again, I just love selfishly listening to him from a football perspective. He's a guy that he gets up there, no nonsense. Like, he loves football, and I think that's why he preaches that so much.
Yeah, I mean, he mentioned it. He's been around a lot of great football players, a lot of great organizations, processes over the last 19 years. It was Nick Saban at Alabama, obviously, with the Dolphins before Nick even went to Tuscaloosa, and obviously what he's done at Georgia. You're right, CB. It's like he comes in a little bit more big picture. Again, Kirby, I think you could throw in the same category as Nick Saban. football coach be damned. I think he would be good at anything he does from a CEO, organization, leadership standpoint. But you're right. He talked about, hey, I look, because I mean, we all know Georgia drafts. I mean, the top 17. He mentioned, he's like, why would I just go watch 17 kids? There's really not much difference in their ability. And it's like, I did it on summer project, and it's like, all things considering, yeah, on Georgia's board, all those dudes, if they all have the same kind of personal football character background, from an athletic ability standpoint, all those dudes could play and have success at Georgia. But what separates them, like you said, Mark Stoops, Sam Pittman aren't going to come out there on Feinbaum and be like, hey, dude, if you want to talk money, you don't come here to Arkansas or Kentucky. I can't hear that. Yeah. Kirby has that, but he's built up that rapport to have that ability to go out there and kind of advertise like, hey, this isn't for everybody, fellas. Like, we want elite athletes, obviously. That's the ticket into the club. What's going to separate you, the football and personal character.
Did you really take anything away from him about his team outside of maybe the fact that they are a youthful bunch? I don't really feel like – I don't know how much he really dove in. And none of these coaches really want to dive into the nitty-gritty. Again, the question you have for Kirby Smart, he's like, if I had some – cutting edge, I wouldn't be telling here. So none of them really want to get that in depth and in the weeds. But I don't know. I mean, was there anything that maybe I missed that you took away about his team?
This team's a little bit more hungry is a easy word to say, but that's the word I'm going to use here. Hungry from a standpoint, you could tell he's like, we had a lot of experience back last year, but he's like, that's not all. Remember he said that he's like, that can be a good and bad thing. You get a little complacent. You played, nobody's really pushing you from behind. It's your starting job, so you're not going to go really try to hone that craft, get better in the offseason. Feels like this team, to your point, the 54% of their roster, which I saw somebody combat that, and it is kind of true. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, half your roster, your freshman and sophomore, it's about just over 54%. The upperclassmen would be the other percentage. I mean, it's probably, stat probably is a little overblown, but to the point of, I mean, I think he likes the ability that he does have some hungry guys because they did lose a lot on the front seven. So you have some guys battling for starting spots. So he's probably a little bit like, all right, yeah, I have their attention because we have guys fighting for jobs. Where last year you had a lot of guys that had jobs solidified.
Yeah, and he mentioned the complacency in college football too when he made the point that everybody's getting paid and there's a lot of complacency in the sport because of it. So I thought that was interesting. He mentioned college football. He thinks it is what was the word he used? He didn't say strained. He said the time of change. He said we're in the midst of change. So, again, anytime Kirby Smart speaks, people listen for a reason. Like I said, I could listen to him talk football all day long because of his passion, his energy, the way he feels about the game, and he demands that same thing from everybody who comes through his program. Moving into Hugh Freeze. Again, I know you were up around about, you were doing radio hits, you and I both all day long. I was down there. I actually got a question in for Hugh Freeze. Talking about
somebody texted me saying great one.
Yeah, talking about finishing games and how they can close out games because he mentioned those tight games because he mentioned if they're going to make a run to the playoff, they got to do that. So, I think he sounded really confident. I mean, I think Hugh Freeze is actually leaning into the expectations. I mean, he literally said it's a team we should be in the college football playoff conversation come end of season.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. So he set the standard, I think, for this season. He has set the standard. He set the bar. You don't have to make the playoff, but, I mean, I would agree if by end of October, beginning of November, if Auburn's just a complete non-factor in that conversation, you did not have a successful season.
I mean, we should know about Auburn by first week of October, really. I mean, Baylor, massive game to open the year, that Friday night in Waco. Then you got to go at Oklahoma, at A&M within those first 5 games. If they're 4-1 after those first 5, and I think it's a bye week, then Georgia comes to town, they're on that path. Even if they lost to Georgia, you're sitting at 4-2. They could somehow get an Alabama or Auburn, Alabama or Georgia at home. Yeah, Alabama or Georgia at home this year. I like them. Again, if you told me Auburn had like Oklahoma schedule, I'd be a little like 6-7 wins, probably it. But we talked about it a little bit. We're talking about with Mike G over there at the War Report. When you look at their schedule, they have some teams like Kentucky, who I'm not very high on. I don't think it's going to be a good football team this year. All due respect to Vanderbilt, they've beaten Hugh Freeze or Diego Pavi's beaten him 2 years in a row. They beat him last year.
He didn't get a question about that today.
But like that's a game if your roster's improved.
Right,
you should win.
You should win.
You're better. Arkansas, they could be average below. You have some teams like Missouri. Their whole offense.
They don't get Mississippi State, do they?
No.
Okay, they don't get
them. League games against Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, and who did I say, Vandy?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a playoff team, that's half your league. You get the 2 better teams on your schedule, both at home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a very manageable schedule, but it was last year.
Yeah.
You probably should have won 7-8 last year. I'm a little higher on Auburn than some people, and I think a lot of that is to do with, I think, that personnel they have and second-year defensive coordinator DJ Durkin. But you're right, Hugh Freeze, the big summary of today, he did seem very confident and totally embracing it.
Yeah, he was very confident in his team. He did get asked about his golf game, by the way. Just a quick, brief question about, are you tired of people asking about your golf game? I thought he answered it as well as you could. Just simply said, hey, listen, I love to golf. It's something I like to do in the off season. It's one of my favorite hobbies. It's not going to take away from me building up Auburn to be.
I thought you were going to ask
a
Pro V1 or Callaway.
Yeah, I thought if I was Hugh Freeze, I would have walked to the podium with my putter in hand as a joke, but I know Auburn fans wouldn't have found that very funny. So that's probably why I'm not Auburn's head football coach.
Have Kirk Sampson
or done like a practice
their
swing.
SID
like when Greg Sankey's over there reading off my accolades, I'm kind of like working on my swing over there, kind of like, just kind of play into it. But no, I thought Hugh sounded very confident. Listen, I've talked a lot about, I think we have it every year. There's going to be a team that pops in the SEC. Why not Auburn? They have all the pieces. I mean, you can very quickly, when you look at Auburn, you can very quickly fall in love with the roster and convince yourself why they could be a college football playoff team. Very, very quickly. When you look at all the additions on offense, the way that I think if you're a believer in Jackson Arnold, his abilities and what he can be, being in that offense, again, the pieces they added around Cam Coleman, you lose Jarquez Hunter, but they've got a bunch of bodies that I think can slide in. And is there going to be a bell cow back? Maybe not, but they could also do it by running back by committee. And then defensively, they've been really, really good at a DJ Durkin, and they got a lot of pieces coming back. And they had one of them today in Keldrick Fault that I think is going to be one of the best pass rushers in the SEC. So again, very, very quickly, you can fall in love with that Auburn roster. You can fall in love with that Auburn roster, as our guy
just like
Mike walks by.
With Mike G.
Right, exactly. So, anyways, Hugh Freeze, a lot of confidence. He should be confident, but now I think at the Auburn fan base, you got to deliver. You got to deliver. Yeah. And it starts week 1 against Baylor on the road. That one, I mean,
CP, I asked Mike G this down there when he was waiting to go to Feinbaum. If I told you, how shocked would you be if I told you Auburn lost to Baylor but still won 8 games?
Shocked. Absolutely shocked. I mean, it's as must win gets, and I just think that's, But dude, you think I feel like a lot of people are really confident. Dude, Auburn's only I think a 2.5 point favorite in that game. So I mean,
I don't think Vegas really knows,
right?
Because a lot of people are high on Baylor too. Phil Steele has them winning the Big 12.
Yeah, that's a big one. Tigers have got to have that one. To the afternoon session, Dave. Josh Heupel led us off. Like you mentioned, I was kind of surprised that he didn't get more questions about the Nico situation. I think a lot of people are probably ready to just move on, though. But what I did think was interesting, and maybe it's not a surprise, but, I got a lot of pushback from Tennessee fans when I ranked Joey Aguilar 16th in my quarterback rankings. And I even said further, I went a step further and said, it wouldn't surprise me if we have a battle and maybe Joey's not even the starter when they kick this thing off. Well, today, and call it Coach Speak, called it. He didn't have to come out and say it. Josh Heupel comes out and says, we are going to have an open competition. There's an open competition at quarterback. Why would he just come out and say that?
Well, I even heard, I was standing next to Miles Kitzelman's booth. He was echoing the whole it's a quarterback battle. Every time they asked him about the quarterback, he named all 3 guys. Yeah. It wasn't it's Jake or.
But I still get the vibe, this is kind of a side note, I still get the vibe that I think Tennessee fans are going to be gracious with Josh Heupel from the standpoint of, you have to respect what he did. Nobody's bigger than the power T. That was brought up today yet again. I think you have to respect it. Nobody's bigger than the program. They couldn't bend the knee to Nico and beg him to come, whatever. They did the right thing. Even if it put them in a situation that's not as advantageous as they would like, they did the right thing. So I'd like to think that fans are going to be willing to be patient or just be understanding of the situation they're in. What'd you take away, though, from, like you mentioned, Josh Heupel? It was there wasn't a ton, I felt like. We could try to read between the lines here, but there wasn't really a ton that I thought
I think he went into. Said, CP. I think it's not a solidified job for Joey Aguilar yet. Now, I think a lot of people figure he's going to say that because he doesn't want Jake Merklinger to transfer either. Yeah. And then they're, really poor depth-wise quarterback from a quarterback perspective. But, no, other than that, no. I asked him about Rodney Garner, them getting he kept kind of being like, Heupel does say this regularly. He didn't just say this here. He does talk about, Tennessee football traditionally is a defensive team. He's like, and I'm glad we've gotten that back. And that's what carried them mostly last year. How big of I think inevitably there's going to be a drop-off because you lost that many guys. But how big of a drop-off? Because, again, they did carry them a lot last year. You never I do think the Nico Iamaleava compared to the Joey Aguilar situation here, I think there's going to be a little bit more explosive plays, more touchdowns, more risk being taken. I think that's going to come with some more turnovers. Yeah. Nico wouldn't turn over the football. But how big of a drop-off is that defense to potentially bail them out when they need them? So, I was talking to a Georgia guy down there before we came up and did this. And he's a little concerned, as he should be, for that game Georgia goes to week 3 in Knoxville. I mean, it's really Gunnar Stockton's first road game. We know he's played in the SEC championship game and in the Sugar Bowl, but this is a first true road game. Still going to be rocking. That'll be interesting. I don't feel as good if I'm a Tennessee fan now that Nico left. I know they're not going to like saying that, but I don't know. So, Tennessee's that interesting team this year. Schedule's beneficial. There's still some talent on that team, but you're right. Heupel didn't give a lot specifically today.
No, I thought he held it really close to the vest, and you talked about the tradition of Tennessee football, talked about the fan base a lot. Again, most notably was the quarterback thing, but not really much else. Like you said, Tennessee's a bit of a mystery.
Yeah.
And I think maybe for him, like we talk about, like coaches aren't given a lot. Like we said yesterday, they probably don't really know either.
They're just guessing.
I mean, you think about it, Josh Heupel's never seen him take a snap in a Tennessee uniform.
No.
So he don't know.
No.
Yeah, how's he going to come out and say that guy's our QB1 for sure? He ain't never seen him in a Tennessee practice. So
yeah.
it makes sense why he would say that.
Yeah, so he's not going to go out there and say something that could get in trouble later. So no, I mean, Heupel was probably the one that probably gave the least. It was probably, I hate to say unprepared. I don't think it's the right way to say it. Just probably didn't invest as much time in preparation as some of like the Sark, the Kirby Smarts did heading into this. But again, that's not Heupel's thing. Heupel's not a media guy. He's a ball coach, wants to go call offensive plays. This is what it is. But nothing bad, nothing good. It's just, I think like you made the best point. I think him not naming an official starter, which won't surprise some, is probably the bigger storyline for him.
You mentioned Sark. He closed out the day. Dave, I want to get your thoughts on what Steve Sarkisian said. By the way, while he's speaking, or essentially I guess while Kirby's speaking, but it's been a big day for Texas today. They landed the kid this morning that was between
Atkinson.
Texas and Georgia, Atkinson from Grayson. They land him. Apparently, right before we jump on, they flip another kid that was committed to Georgia. Sark with some interesting comments about NIL and how they don't want that to be like the, we don't even talk about NIL. I feel like he's trying to kind of deflect all of the, everybody loves to talk about the Texas and the oil money and the Lambos.
Yeah.
And like he's trying to deflect. But I mean, like, we get the current state of college athletics. We get why y'all are having a lot of success. Nobody's knocking them for it because, I mean, hey, they lost a kid to Texas Tech. So, like, I don't think you can apologize or should apologize to anybody when you get a kid because of the bag. So, but outside of that, your thoughts on Sark, and then we can talk, of course, Arch Manning, because today was truly Arch Manning mania. I mean, Dave, I've only been to a few of these SEC Media Days, but like, had this happened, we would have known previously. I've never seen people essentially dip out on the coach's presser to go stand over by the podium where the player is going to be sitting because they want to get a close-up, be in good position to ask a question. I've never seen that, never heard of that my entire life. But your thoughts on what Steve Sarkisian said?
You're right. So people are already setting up shop. And that
Sark's down there talking. They're like, I'm good on this.
Before he even came out to it, let's not even talk the Texas A&M or him.
Oh, dude, yes. That's got to be one of the stories today.
It didn't even
he
hit me until I
walks
was
out
doing
to
it.
the war hymn.
I didn't even.
Who is getting? I don't know if you're getting fired for that. You're getting demoted. You're passing the sticks.
Song.
You're passing the sticks. I guarantee you what happened. The dude in a rush. He put his. He's probably searching. Control F search Texas. Boom. He clicks enter. He didn't see like the dot past the dot that it said A&M. Still though.
Dude, it didn't even
How do you not
it didn't even hit me till Sark was walking out and I was humming it and I was doing Saw Varsity's Horns just because I worked at A&M. I know the song, but to your point, it's like, wait, he came out. Then they played at the end the right Texas song. I
did hear they tried to like make up for it with the fight song. I mean, are we sure that Billy Lucci and the Texags folks didn't have something to do with this? Was it Nunez? I mean, it's just inexcusable for that to happen. But I digress. Sark.
Sark overall, you're right. I mean, it kind of seemed like he wanted to stay away from like some of the questions about a lot of the guys want to kind of stay away from the salary cap going over. Like, I mean, yesterday I asked Lane Kiffin about the punishment. And he didn't really give much to Sark. Somebody kind of asked the same question. And he was like, I don't even know the rules. I'm not going to get into that. But you're right. I saw he mentioned Texas. Again, he mentioned Texas is a place you don't go to if you're interested in NIL. But I see people on Twitter immediately start clipping the Ferrari pics that they had on their OV from either a year or two ago when the kids are walking in. It's surrounded by Ferraris. I mean, so it is what it is. I mean, I think he's excited about his team. He talked about continuity at the coordinator spots. I mean, you got Pete Kwiatkowski. You got obviously Sark, you got Kyle Flood, AJ Milwee. You got special teams coach Jeff Banks, who's been with him since Alabama. So you got a lot of continuity on that staff. They have some holes as well, but There's some veteran spots on the special teams too. He brought up some of the seniors there. Again, he didn't really give. I remember he didn't give a lot about this specific team. Really, he kind of talked about a bunch of big picture stuff. Talked about the strengths of Arch. How he's got some wittiness to him. Very cool, calm, mature kid. Someone asked, seems like you're talking to a 30-year-old when you're talking to him, which is true. But that's really what I took away from Sark. He came in well prepared. Hit a lot of his points in his opening statements,
which he always does. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of you get what you're expecting from Sark
when you go out there and do that.
You get what you're expecting from Sark, but I will agree with you. It's very funny him talking about NIL the way that he does. I understand why they have to. You're not going to go out there and say like this is the only reason. Like this is why guys are coming here. But he's saying what he's saying, and I'm sure in the back of his mind he's like, I'm sure glad we got it though.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying take it away. Like I'm glad we got it now.
Yeah.
You know, like it's winning us some battles. I mean, it is what it is. So
but we're not trying to. But him and Georgia. Kirby Smart and Steve Sarkisian are on the same level of like we're kind of drafting. We can be picky,
right?
Like if a kid's kind of got a red flag, we can back away. Where a team like Arkansas, Texas Tech, like we don't traditionally get these kind of guys, so we're going to take him, try to figure it out. I mean, hell, he may drive us hell. He may be hell Sunday through Friday, but if he's producing on Saturday, we'll put up with it.
You can deal with less knuckleheads when you're in their position like they are. Dave, anything else from day 2 that stood out to you? Arch Manning. We didn't even talk about really the Arch Manning mania. I mean, I thought he was calm, cool, collected. The outfit.
I thought he could have had a little bit better of attire.
I was about to say the outfit was a little bit outrageous. It gave very much first day of school vibes. I think I saw somebody on social media say it looks like he was the fraternity president.
Yeah, I think Ross Dellinger tweeted and somebody said it looks like he's like trying to convince Dean Wormer and them off Animal House to not shut down the fraternity.
I can't tell if when it comes to the Arch Manning fit, whether I look at him and I'm like, this guy just has no drip at all, no swag, or if it is such an aura play that like he doesn't have to go above and beyond with the fit. I'm still trying to figure that out. Like it's almost like you give so little of a damn that I respect the hell out of it. I really do. I have to respect it. So guys, they have the flair and everything, and he just shows up like his first day of school, dude. I love it.
Me be like, it may be just like the family strategy. They don't want him out there like some Gucci outfit, and people are talking about he's flying on the radar.
I think that's probably what it is.
Maybe a little bit.
I mean, dude, I'll say this about Arch, and it's a good thing, but he's almost like overly humble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, I mean, but you respect it because he's like, you know, hey, people talking about you winning the Heisman. Like, how do you feel? He's like, bro, I've done nothing. I shouldn't be. I've done nothing. And you're like, you're humble. I mean, you're very humble for sure. I mean, you are going out of your way to be humble. But he's been trained, I'm sure. Like his family's made him aware. Like you are going to get treated this type of way.
Yeah.
You're better off keeping a low profile and just navigating that.
There's going to be a target on your back. Don't go add to that already by your last.
Dude, I think you can also tell that his family's done a good job in raising him from the standpoint of like, he doesn't come off as a guy that feels like he has to go. It's almost like he doesn't feel like he's got to like uphold to some standard of like he's his own person. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he's not carrying the Manning legacy on his back. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I get that.
He doesn't like. It doesn't seem like there's like pressure on him like that.
I
think the only pressure he has on him is I am Texas's starting quarterback and I'm trying to win a national championship.
Yeah.
So and that's just picking up from a media days event. Now we'll see like on the field. That's all to be determined. But I don't think all the external stuff. It doesn't, at least the way he answers questions, the way he carries himself to me, it doesn't come off as if he's letting that affect him in any way. Like I said, he's his own individual person. He does a good job of being that.
Yeah, no, takeaways from him. I wasn't sitting next there by the booth that you were talking about with the whole Arch Mania stuff. But yeah, I mean, same stuff. I mean, I didn't think he would come out with some wild quote either that we'd be taken away from. But
I'm guaranteeing we win the night.
16-0. They take away my ref share. He's putting it out there, loser leave town. But no, I mean, I think he was fine. Yeah. You're right. I guess the attire would be the one thing that you're like, interesting.
And that's how you know we're at SEC Media Days because we're nitpicking what a quarterback wore to a Media Days event. So,
hey, added up there with Hugh Freeze's amount of times, or what Marler told us today. What Hugh Freeze has golfed more times than he has.
He's logged as many rounds of golf in the month of July as he has wins in his first 2 seasons at Auburn.
Which,
now, is that accurate? I don't know, but it's probably pretty close.
But as we all know, CP, people have started attacking Arch if he doesn't come out there. I mean, think about it. Kalen DeBoer one week, man, we're not missing a beat without Nick after they beat Georgia. Goes and loses to Vandy. Everybody's talking about how tight his shirt is. And he's just wearing a T-shirt. Nick wore a collar.
It's just
he wore a collar out there every game. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it's the nature of the beast. So, again, another great day in the books here at SEC Media Days in Atlanta, Georgia, guys. We will be back tomorrow recapping day 3. And there is rumor on the streets that a bear may be entering the cave.
Out of hibernation.
Out of hibernation. You'll have to wait and see. It's going to be a lot of fun. Guys, again, we appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you all so much. This is the Overtime Drive, SEC Unfiltered's SEC football show, the best SEC football show on the internet. As always, guys, I'm Chris Phillips. He is Dave Shumate. Like I said, we'll be back. Make sure you stay tuned to all of our coverage. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast or get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. And as always, we get out of here doing a table with our friends over at FanDuel, because as always, we're brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. They're the ones that send us on these trips. Again, guys, college football season just around the corner. Make sure you go to FanDuel.com/SECU to get your $250 deposit bonus when you win your first $5 bet. Guys, if you think Arch Manning is going to win the Heisman, guess what? There's a prop bet for that, right? Gunnar Stockton today, same thing. They got over-unders, they got totals, they got spreads, they got everything you need. And it's not just college football. College basketball's around the corner. NBA, NHL, MLB obviously is in full swing right now. You want to bet on fight night, everything you need, they've got it over at FanDuel. FanDuel.com/SECU to get that $250 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Once again, Dave, thank you so much. I appreciate you, my man. It's been a great week with you thus far. We've got 2 more days. Guys, follow along for more. It's content bleeding out of the eyeballs from us. And we'll be back around this same time tomorrow to talk day 3. 4 more great coaches, a bunch of great players. Should be a great time. Again, appreciate you all. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and we'll talk to you all on the other side.